All right, you are listening to another episode of Transparency and Merit, and I'm here with Brian. My name's Joe. What's going on? What do we have tonight?
Well, I wanted to go over. There is a video. I don't know how viral it is. I don't think it's necessarily a viral. Well, it's semi-viral video going around, and I am in it actually.
You are in it.
I am actually in this video, and it is kind of funny, but the guy was not exactly upfront and honest. And I guess he pulled kind of a Project Veritas on me, too.
Why don't you make it clear here what happened? You went to a local Denny's for
Yes.
a meeting. What was the meeting for?
Well, basically, it was a meetup. It was hosted by, and now God help me, I don't remember the. Let me look up the guy's name real quick while I.
It was Jaime, right? Jaime.
His name is Harim Azil. I think Azil.
Yes.
He's the hardcore American patriot, and he had a meetup. He had a meetup at Denny's, and when I got there, we were in a room off to the side. And we were in. There are two meeting rooms, and we were in the one that was furthest from the entrance, and then we got moved to the one that was nearer to the entrance. So, because like I said, there are two meeting rooms. And this guy, Xavier, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, Rotnofsky. Now, he looks like... by the way, and he looks a lot... That guy, by the way, looks a lot like... who's the guy who did Chinatown, who got caught for rape? Now I can't even remember his name, but it'll come back to me. But he came in as a legitimate documentarian, like he was, completely neutral, and he was going to basically
Roman Polanski.
He looks like a young Roman Polanski. Actually, if they ever do a docudrama about Roman Polanski, he could basically play him. But getting back to the whole situation. So he comes in as somewhat of a legitimate documentarian. Like all he's doing is he's like, just getting the whole film thing for, like just to get like what Donald Trump, what all the Donald Trump supporters are about in California. And I'm not even necessarily really a Donald Trump supporter. I mean, I like what he's doing with the economy and stock. I mean, like the stock market's doing really well and things of that nature. But and I've said this before, I'm more of a conservative pragmatist. So I'm not a person who treats politicians or anyone else like rock stars, or I don't idolize Trump or anything like that. I just I'm somewhat of a free thinker, and today the free thinkers tend to be more on the moderate to right side than they are on the left. The left is completely, in my opinion, are completely, if not very, censorious. So
they like to censor. They are the ones on the left and the right seem to be posting an awful lot of news stories and articles where you're no longer allowed to even place comments on there. The comments are closed, and I see that way too frequently. It used to be a huge deal when somebody would write an article and then you weren't allowed. They didn't open the conversation up to discourse. But
and I see it far more on the left than I do on the right. And we've done other things like just reacting to this thing, because it was a little bit of a, there were people who said, "Hey, I saw you on a video," and I didn't even know what it was. It wasn't until one of my favorite derelicts walked up to me and he mentioned that I was in a video, and then the whole thing kind of skyrocketed from there, and they made a meme out of me. And
well, they portrayed you at the very beginning as saying a lot of nothing, and then
that's true. And
then,
that's true. They did.
And then there was kind of a poke at your size when they asked you what you were.
What am I going to have for? And by the way, the guy did ask me, like, what are you thinking of having? And I said, I think I'll have the steak or something. So, and I didn't. You know what? They kicked us out. I said this before. They kicked us out of the Denny's before I was able to have my steak.
That's depressing.
It is. It was upsetting. And, like I said, I stuck around for a little bit more just to see, like, kind of who was out there. Because when I went there, the protesters that were there, because there were people protesting this hardcore patriot guy. I don't want to bastardize his name, but because I don't, Harim Aziz or whatever his name.
Uziel.
Okay, yeah. So he was there, and there were people basically protesting him, and then there were people who were a lot of anti-Trumpers. I think there were some like Antifa there, like, because there were people in masks, and there were a couple of people who were waving Mexican flags, and there were a lot of people waving American flags. There were a couple of characters from the Trump train that were there. It was kind of interesting. I didn't stick around to really talk to anybody because the whole situation. It was unfortunate that nobody wanted to basically iron out their differences and just have kind of a conversation, because that's kind of what I like to do. I don't think I think, unfortunately, the situation is so polarized that I don't think a conversation may be even possible. And I think more from the left than from the right. I think conservatives are far more willing to talk than the left. That's just been my experience. I could be wrong in this situation, but that's kind of how I feel about the situation as of now, and for the most part. That's one of the reasons why I don't think this guy will ever want to talk to us unless it's there to basically try to humiliate.
So this is a call out then to Xavier. If you get this, I think we should all sit down and we should talk, because I think there was a lot of interesting developments, and that video sure says a lot. I think we get a lot out of a conversation, don't you?
Yeah, but I don't think he'll do it. The reason I don't think he'll do it is because I think that he doesn't want to portray like anyone who's not left, not far left or left of center.
Yeah, but how reliable is somebody who can't even sit across the table from somebody of the opposing view? Maybe. We don't even know, but we're only even presuming that we have a difference of views here. So I
only know what I've seen him. I only know what I've seen of the guy, and he, like I said, he seems a little bit. He seems like he could be a little bit on the vindictive side, and a little bit on the brainwashed side. Even though he's funny, which most social justice warriors aren't, he seems like he could be a little bit on the social justice side, just a tad bit. I could be wrong. On that. I think this is, and by the way, I think this is his most viral video.
It is. I've looked, and the numbers are big. It's only been like a week, and he's got a lot of hits. And you are on that video prominently featured I think Velton should see that, as should all the other people listening tonight. They should get a peek
if they want to take a look at that damn thing. I mean, it is on the humiliating side, more so of me bloviating and saying nothing. And I think that look at that video of him with all that cash money. Now, I mean, I could just comment on these pictures of this. So this is the music in the background. This is the video playing that you've put out there. And I don't want to make this damn thing too long because that's not going to be good. But I wonder how many minutes. Yeah,
I'm going to post the link to this right now.
Yeah, post the link and just if you can give that guy. He did to a degree misrepresent himself as a legitimate reporter and stuff. And like I said, some of the things that he's done have been very kind of vindictive and cruel. And I don't think he'd be that vindictive and cruel to a liberal or somebody he agreed with. You know.
Nice.
But who knows?
Well, yeah, I wish there was more open and honest discourse and people not trying to snipe at the other side this way. I think it's kind of unfortunate that you got kind of caught up in the middle there because you were, like you said, you weren't necessarily there to defend everything, whatever that Jaime's proposing there. And Jaime's kind of the leader of that kind of gang, isn't it, or that group?
Well, Jaime has. There's a lot of and I'm not even hanging around them, but what I gathered is there is friction between certain Trump supporters, and there have been between, I guess there's a few white supremacists in the our so-called white supremacists and I don't know if there are any neo-Nazis, but I guess what would be considered racist and white supremacists that are Trump followers. Like I said, I'm not that deeply invested in that kind of thing, and
hold on. You're making it confusing. So Jaime has a group, and he has personal beef with some of these other groups that may have connections to Aryan Nation and that kind of sort of thing. So, do you know what the beef was about? Why were they there to protest Jaime?
Okay, I think Jaime. Okay. I think some of them are perhaps, and I could completely be wrong, but I think some of them are actual white supremacists. But I think also they've had some personal beef with him just for some of the things he may or may not have done. So there's a lot of with this thing, there's a lot of personalities and just personality clashes, and the Navy shooter was he had a leftist manifesto.
Yes.
But I'd still like to hear about that, and I don't see. Me and you disagree that. I think they're pushing the mental health agenda with this one. Yeah.
Anyways, anything else we want to get over in this short episode, or do you want to keep on bloviating and?
No, I think we're going to be done on this one.
I think the reason you brought it up again is because you sat down and you thought more carefully about the details of the events and realized what had actually happened. I mean, it was yesterday when you pointed it out, I think it was funny, but I think when you sat down and thought about it, you kind of realized a deeper truth to what actually went down today. So,
and it was just, and it was, like I said, I just watched it. So it was kind of fresh in my mind. It wasn't fresh in my mind. And I think I'm going to continue this kind of thing with, it was false and whatnot. Anyway, I think that'll do it for this.
Thank you for listening to Transparency and Merit. Go to our website, hit like and subscribe, and leave comments, please.